Hey, what's up? Today I got a pretty fun battle that I played with the same team I used last episode, the Mega Venusaur Scarf Landers team, so I figured I'd record a narration of it because I thought it was pretty cool. So anyways, this guy leads off this Gliscor, I lead off my Landorus, and I figure I can't really do anything to it, so I attempt to U-turn, but he protects against Toxic Orb up, so he's going to end up actually switching out into his, what is this, Amoonguss. So I U-turn again, and I go into my Infernape. And of course, I'm just going to fake out first turn, seeing if he switches or seeing just how bulky he is. But he ends up switching into his Azumarill, and fake out doesn't do too much, so I decide to U-turn, because I can't really do anything to Azumarill anyways. And I end up going into my Venusaur. And first turn, he's just going to Belly Drum right off the bat, predicting the switch, I assume. And I'm going to Mega Evolve, and his Aqua Jet, even at 4 times attack, does less than half. It's 3-hit KO. So one Sludge Bomb takes it out, so that's not really a big deal. And he brings him his Alakazam, so I'm going to switch out into my Genesect. I get the attack boost. I figured I'd just Extreme Speed. Psychic, that's like 3-hit KO. So I'm going to Extreme Speed right here, but he brings in his Magnezone, which is, of course, has Magnet Pull. So that's going to really just make my Genesect useless because I can't switch out. So he's going to set up a substitute, and I can't even take out the substitute with my boost Extreme Speed because, of course, Steel Resist normal. And he's going to end up going for a Thunder Wave, just cripple me even more. It wasn't really necessary for him to do this, but I guess he was just trying to play it as safe as possible. So he's going to go for a Charge Beam, and he gets a special attack boost. And he goes for a Charge Beam again, and he gets a special attack boost again, and that one ends up taking out my Genesect. So at this point, I'm actually kind of worried about this thing. It has +2 special attack, but my Landorus is faster. It can Earthquake it pretty easily, and that's going to force him to switch out, and he's going to go into his Gliscor. And I go for the Superpower here. I'll explain why I went for the Superpower. I knew I could take out the Magnezone with the Superpower, and I also knew that I wanted to get at least some damage on the Gliscor. So it wasn't really risky, and I ended up getting at least a little bit of damage on the Gliscor with the Superpower. So I switch out into my Venusaur, and he goes for Earthquake, and even with under half health, that is a 3-hit KO against Mega Venusaur, which is it's just so bulky. So he ends up switching out into his Tyranitar, and I'm going to go for the Giga Drain that gets me back above half health. The reason that does so little is because Sandstorm boosts Rock-type special defense. So I end up going for the Sleep Powder, and that's because I figured Tyranitar was kind of the biggest threat to my team, and he goes back into his Alakazam. And by the way, the reason the Leech Seed doesn't do anything to the Alakazam is because of its ability Magic Guard. So I bring in my Thundurus, he goes for a Psychic, that's almost a 1-hit KO, but I just really want to get a Thunder Wave on this, and that's what I end up going for. However, he switches into his Gliscor, which is pretty good, so I'm forced to switch out. Actually, I don't switch out, I go for the Psychic, and that's because I didn't really know what he was going to do, and also I didn't want to let anything take either an Earthquake or anything else. Even if I brought in my Landorus couldn't do anything to the Gliscor. So I just keep going for Psychic. Can't even take out the sub. Actually, no, that was on a Protect turn. I would have taken out the sub, but he switches into his Tyranitar, predicting the Psychic, because as Dark type. So I'm going to actually, since it's asleep, I'm going to go for the Nasty Plot. Just boost my special attack. I don't think he was expecting me to have Nasty Plot. He was probably expecting either Substitute or Focus Blast or something like that. Well, probably not Focus Blast, since he brought in his Tyranitar, but either way, I end up going for the Nasty Plot and using Thunderbolt, and 2 Thunderbolts is able to kill the Tyranitar. So I'm in pretty good position at this point. It's 5-on-4. I know I can definitely win. It's possible. So I switch out of this Magnezone, and I go into my Infernape because I can easily overheat. But first turn, of course, I just go for the Fake Out, even though it wouldn't have done much to the Magnezone. End up hitting the Gliscor with it, and at this point I'm pretty sure I could take out the Gliscor with an overheat, and I end up being able to. So that's pretty good. Now it's a 5-on-3, and he brings in his Alakazam, so I'm kind of forced to switch into my Thundurus. I use it as fodder so I can get a free switch, and I go into my Infernape so I can fake out and break his Focus Sash, and that does 33%. And I really messed up here. I should have switched out my Infernape, but I left it in to take a Psychic, and I knew that was going to kill, but I just didn't want anything else to take it. So I bring in my Landorus, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake. He ends up switching into his Amoonguss, and the Earthquake does 56%, so it's a 2-hit KO. Great, right? Well, second Earthquake, nope, only 50% this time. Hits the Spore, so now I'm kind of screwed, because my Landorus is asleep. I know if I wasn't asleep, I could easily take out the rest of his team. He switches back into his Alakazam, and I'm asleep, so that's one sleep turn. So I have to switch out, and I go into my Porygon. I really misplayed this. I should have gone into my Venusaur, so I got a free switch in a Porygon, but I messed that up. I messed that up real badly. So now I'm forced to go into my Venusaur, and of course that's a one-hit KO. So now I can only rely on my Landorus. It has to wake up. So on its second sleep turn, it will be asleep. And at this point, I'm just so worried. I should not have lost this game. I should have won this game. But I wake up, third sleep turn, hit the Earthquake, of course, take out the Alakazam. Now Amoonguss, that's a guaranteed one-hit KO. And lastly is this Magnezone, which is 4 times weak to the ground move, and I'm able to take that out. So it worked out pretty well in the end, and I end up winning the match. It was a pretty good game. I thought it was pretty exciting there at the end with the sleep and everything. And thanks for watching.